And first up, a myth that's caused a fan-site frenzy.
I gotta tell you, this next myth, man, is super controversial. There's literally thousands of pages of the most vitriolic discussions on both the World Wide Web and the Discovery fan site about this next myth.
So that probably means that we're doing plane on a conveyor belt.
Exactly right. Let me spell it out for you. Normally, a plane sits on a runway, spins up its engines, moves forward, gets enough air over the wings, and takes off. But in this case, the plane is sitting not on a runway, but a huge conveyor belt that is matching the plane's forward speed in reverse. And the grand question is, can the plane take off? The myth is that it can't.
Well, I know what I think.
Keep it to yourself because we're gonna test it out.
It's a complex myth that's driven the fan site wild, and it's definitely one to get you thinking. If an airplane is on a conveyor belt and both are going the plane's takeoff speed, but in opposite directions, what will happen? Some say the plane will take off. Others say the plane will be held in place. But what do you think?
How are we going to test this?
I figured the best thing is, as always, to start small. Let's go get the simplest conveyor belt we have access to.
That'd be my treadmill.
Exactly. Put a model plane on it and see what happens when we put those two things together. I also think I know the exact model plane I want to use. Grant has a ton of experience flying it and might be able to teach us.
Okay.
Perfect.
So to curtail this controversy, they need a conveyor belt and an airplane. And Grant's been drafted in to help Adam and Jamie get their wings.
Hey.
Can you teach me how to fly this to do airplane on conveyor belt?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go.
With years of experience under his belt and an unhealthy intimacy with remote-controlled vehicles, Grant makes flying look like child's play.
I'm getting dizzy. I'm gonna throw up.
I am too, yeah.
But can he pass on his flight skills so Adam and Jamie can get this contentious myth off the ground?
Okay, guys, so this is a park flyer. It's a very slow plane. Directional controls are on the right. It's ratcheted so you can keep a position.
Elevators, okay.
Yeah. Trim it out so that you're kind of tail drag. That makes it perfect for a beginning flyer.
Grant makes it all sound so easy. But already, Jamie has some grave concerns.
I don't know if I can handle this, actually. We're using this particular item the way that it was intended.
And leaving Jamie stunned, Adam's cleared for takeoff.
Good, good. My prediction for Adam is, he's got an exuberant personality. He is likely to crash as fast as possible. Jamie, on the other hand, has a very controlled personality. He is likely to fly a very controlled pattern.
That was some nice flying.
In fact, the man with the flyboy mustache proves to be something like the Red Baron. With acrobatics like that, he's qualified as chief aviator on the test. But will it be enough to quell the quarreling caused by this myth?
Well, gentlemen, looks like you've got things under control here.
Reasonably. Thanks for your help, man.
All right.
Thanks, Grant.
Take care. Good luck.
Thanks. I think we're gonna need it.
It's the road to nowhere. The lowly conveyor belt is mankind's labor-saving tool, manufacturing aid, and even automated dog walker. But it's also part of an incredibly controversial conundrum. If a conveyor belt was going the takeoff speed of an airplane in one direction, can it stop that airplane from taking off in the other direction? Or would the plane simply take to the skies? So far, Adam and Jamie have graduated from flight school. All they need now is a conveyor belt. And this not-so-run-of-the-mill human treadmill should be enough to get this myth up and running.
We know what speed the plane needs to take off, so we've set the treadmill to go that speed. We're going to put the plane on it, see whether it takes off.
And with the airplane's takeoff speed being 11.3 miles per hour, both the plane and the belt are set to that magic number.
That's awesome.
I've read literally thousands of pages of vitriolic commentary and argument on the web about airplanes on a conveyor belt, but nowhere did I find anyone who'd put an airplane on a conveyor belt. That's just what we're about to do in scale here. And hopefully we're about to answer some really important questions.
It sounds simple, but as Adam soon finds out, it's not all plain sailing.
I'm sensing a problem.
Those wheels are so flimsy.
They are so flimsy and they're just moving around.
The plane's flimsy wheels are getting trapped in the belt, making takeoff like this impossible. So, what's plan B?
I can help it stay centered with my hands while you're goosing it.
Okay. It can go forward or up.
Right.
Okay.
Adam's engineered a flight plan to steer the plane, and carefully making sure he's not pushing it forward, it's all systems go.
It's an airplane on a conveyor belt, dude. It's one of the great questions of the internet.
Ain't that the truth? But it's not answered yet, Adam.
I'll set it to fat burn.
Fat burn, nice.
So with the treadmill set to fat burn in one direction, Jamie's plane burns rubber in the other direction. But Houston, we have a problem. Orville and Wilbur Wright took years to perfect airplane steering. But Adam and Jamie have only got until the next commercial break.
Go ahead and ramp it up.
Luckily, they get their act together. But is that a result?
And we thought it was going to do what?
It went right off the end of the conveyor belt.
No.
Yes.
Yes. With the conveyor belt going 11.3 miles per hour in reverse, Jamie accelerated the plane up to match that speed. And get this, the plane moved forwards. However, it didn't have a chance to get airborne because the treadmill is too short.
The question is, can it take off on the treadmill? This isn't long enough for this thing to get up enough speed to take off.
So we need a longer treadmill.
We need a longer treadmill, and I don't see how we can modify this to be long enough.
The MythBusters are no strangers to controversy. They campaigned for free energy
It's breaking free of the bonds of the energy conglomerates.
and took on the man in the Great Gas Conspiracy.
Okay, that's enough of that test.
But now they're tackling the most debated myth in MythBusters history.
It's one of the great questions of the internet.
If an airplane was on a conveyor belt and both were going the same speed but in opposite directions, would the plane be held in place or would it take off? So far, it's been a turbulent ride. The plane's gone forward on the conveyor belt, but it hasn't taken off. And that means the boys need a new plan.
We need a longer treadmill, and I don't see how we can modify this to be long enough.
Well, how about a sheet of butcher paper, just a long roll of it, and just yank it?
That's great. That's terrific.
All we need for that test is to figure out what the shortest distance this can become airborne in.
So a long piece of butcher paper will act as the new conveyor belt. But first, the boys need to find out exactly how long to make their paper treadmill.
So I'm marking this out on the floor so we could start at point 0 and know exactly how many feet it takes this plane at full throttle to get airborne. All right, this is airplane takeoff test 1. Jamie, whenever you're ready. Dude, that took off in like 20 feet.
With the takeoff distance sorted, what's next?
So the myth is that an airplane on the conveyor belt that's matching its takeoff speed in reverse cannot take off. And we've determined that this plane needs between 10 and 15 feet to achieve takeoff speed, 11.3 miles per hour. I'm gonna drag 20 feet of this butcher paper behind my device here with the plane facing in reverse, like this. I'm gonna get up to about 12 miles an hour over the takeoff speed. Jamie's gonna kick this plane into gear, and if it can take off before it leaves the paper, then I think this myth is not looking very good. Long conveyor belt test in 3, 2, 1.
Up, stop. Nope.
Oh, it just goes to show what looks good on paper doesn't always work in practice.
No. The plane just went off before I had even controlled it.
Struggling to keep his plane on the right track and to keep his cool, Jamie is one hell of a frustrated flyboy.
Sorry.
3, 2,
Look,
1.
here's the deal. This myth is so stupid that it's embarrassing. I'm almost ashamed to put this out there.
Well, he's not a happy camper. But maybe a little runway maintenance will help his piloting skills and settle this global dispute once and for all.
Okay, I'm ready to start. You all ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, go.
After so many false starts and so much controversy,
Is that a flying plane?
That is a flying plane, and it was on the paper when it took off.
Excellent.
confounding and confusing, the plane didn't stay where it was. It moved forward and took off before the end of the conveyor belt.
My chariot was going about 11.5 miles per hour the very moment the plane reached the end of this runway.
Here's the thing. If the myth is that a plane on a conveyor belt can't take off, we just had a plane on a conveyor belt and it took off.
And what's more, they have a theory as to why.
Are you having fun?
I am.
And
All right, I'm trying to use this car to demonstrate where I think people get mixed up. The forward speed of the car is exactly the same as the backward speed of the conveyor belt, thus the car remains stationary, and this is why people think that the plane's not taking off, because there it is, it's stationary, it's not moving.
yeah, but cars and airplanes move by different means. The car is sending power to its wheels. That's what makes it move forward or backward or keep up with the conveyor belt. Airplanes have free spinning wheels, and they move because there's a propeller pushing air, which makes the airplane go forward.
Exactly. So if I remove power to the wheels of this car, thus turning it into a plane, and then my hand pushing will represent the force of the propeller pushing against the air, and I feel almost no resistance on the conveyor belt, so the plane moves forward.
And it takes off.
Exactly.
So let's get this straight. A car gets its thrust through its wheels, creating forward motion using the ground it's on. But a plane gets its thrust through its engines, which are independent of its wheels, and so is not affected by the ground, or in this case, the conveyor belt. When engines are on, forward motion will happen. That's the theory. But to cement their place in history, the MythBusters are going full scale with a manned aircraft and the mother of all conveyor belts. The question is, will they get airborne?
Go!
In 1908, thousands doubted the Wright Flyer would succeed. In 1968, hundreds of thousands argued the first 747 was too big to fly. And in 2008, millions are clashing over the myth of plane on a conveyor belt.
Excellent!
That little airplane took off just like I thought it would. So, myth busted, right?
Not so fast, man. You know we can't leave it there. You know this debate would never be quelled until you and I did it full scale, and that's just what we have to do.
Well, you know what that means.
Yes, I do. It means a real plane, and it means a really big conveyor belt.
And hey presto, this should do it. A 2,000-foot length of tarpaulin, which they can drag behind a truck to create the biggest conveyor belt in history. And with that sorted, they cruise down to Castle Airport,
I love it. That thing's great.
where they meet the other ingredient for this myth, kamikaze ultralight pilot Mark Johnson.
It's the Cadillac of ultralights. It's 400 pounds, the engine's 100, so the plane itself's only 300, and it'll take off straight up 1,200 feet a minute. It's quite amazing.
It's amazing, but will it take off on the conveyor belt?
Well, I'm eager to get going. Will you run this through its paces so we can get some actual measurements off of it before we start testing?
Sure.
Fantastic.
It's bigger scale and a bigger challenge with Mark's life on the line. Just like in small scale, the MythBusters need distance and speed measurements to get this myth off the ground.
All right, distance to takeoff. Good to go.
Jamie gives clearance. Mark floors it. And in no time at all,
Takeoff distance, 85 feet. That's fantastic for us.
fantastic. Next, the guys need the takeoff speed.
We got the cockpit camera that we put on the airspeed indicator in miles per hour. Let's see what its takeoff speed was.
That was
Yeah, about 25 miles an hour.
And with speed and distance covered, it's time to launch full scale. First up, Mark's ultralight will be moved onto the tarpaulin treadmill. Then Jamie will attach his pickup to the end of the tarp. He'll pull it at 25 miles per hour in the opposite direction to the ultralight, just as Mark tries to take off. That's the plan. So where's the tarp?
We've got 2,000 feet of 12-foot wide tarp, which we're going to drag behind Jamie's pickup truck, effectively making the world's biggest conveyor belt.
It's the jumbo jet of conveyor belts, and an excited Adam has swapped his two-wheeled chariot for something a little bigger.
Here's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking we drop this burrito of tarp on the ground, attach it, okay, good, and then drag it all the way down the runway. What do you think?
Okay.
It's a simple plan, which Adam, playing the role of the airplane, demonstrates. But there's trouble when he rips holes in the tarp.
Sorry.
And that's not the only problem.
So it's not as simple as we thought. The wind's shifting down the runway. It's only about 10 or 15 degrees, but each time it shifts, it's throwing this whole thing in a tizzy.
It seems traditional MythBuster patience has gone with the wind.
You're going to stop. I don't know where the you're going. If this wind is heading up the runway, we can't do anything. It's
Oh, well, it's time to apply the air brakes. So Jamie calls it quits.
Well, as you can see, the wind has picked up. It's causing us a big problem. So we're out of here. We're going to be back early in the morning.
It's the most requested fan myth ever. So failure to launch is not an option for the MythBusters. Tomorrow is their last chance to blow away this myth. In 100 years of flight, man has tried to get off the ground in some inventive ways. But none have caused such heated public debate as this flight of fancy. If a manned airplane is on a conveyor belt and both are going at the airplane's takeoff speed, but in opposite directions, will the plane be held where it is, or will it take off? Yesterday, big scale hit big problems.
holy crap.
The crosswind blew away any chance of a test.
If this wind is heading up the runway, we can't do anything. It's dawn on the tarmac, and that's why we're here, because there's no wind for, we're told, the first couple of hours of the morning. We are hauling ass because the tarp is perfect right now. It's like making a very big bed.
With less than a guff of air movement, you could say the MythBusters have broken wind.
This is looking great.
But another discovery could seriously jeopardize this test.
Yesterday, while Jamie was driving, just at a slow speed, I decided to run on the tarp because I thought it'd be funny. But every time my foot hit the tarp, it tore a huge hole in it. That's what I'm picturing as the worst case scenario. That the moment that plane starts to roll and Jamie starts to drive in the opposite direction, the tarp just rips solid hell.
Even though he's facing a bizarre conveyor belt death, Mark seems unflappable. But with 10 years of flying experience, what does he think of the myth?
Do you think that this conveyor belt will be able to keep your plane from taking off?
Yes, if I match my speed exactly the same speed forward as it's going backwards, and there's no air over the wings, I should just sit there like a brick.
Hang on.
I should just sit there like a brick.
So, the controversy continues. Pilot Mark believes the myth that the plane will be held in place by the belt.
And if we do take off, I'm going to be a surprised individual.
It's surprising, but small scale proved the plane got enough lift for takeoff. So there's only one way to settle the argument once and for all.
You guys ready to do this thing?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
All right.
It's time to go big scale. And with Jamie's pickup pulling a massive conveyor belt in one direction, will a manned aircraft going the same speed in the other direction have the lift it needs to get airborne? Mark does his final checks.
Light support, you're clear to take off.
Copy that.
Jamie's all set.
The truck is in gear. I'm good to go. Over.
All right, this is full-size airplane on a conveyor belt. For real this time.
Thousands of people wait in anticipation. And Adam gives the thumbs up.
Go, Jamie, go.
Mark and Jamie accelerate in opposite directions. And it's arguably the most incredible sight since the Wright brothers got airborne. A very surprised Mark Johnson takes off in his plane from a conveyor belt.
That worked! Oh, that was beautiful! Go, Jamie, go!
A beautiful takeoff. Even with the conveyor belt matching the plane's takeoff speed, the plane moves forward past the traffic cones and easily takes to the skies.
Nice work!
Once we started to roll, I gunned it. I got up at a fairly good clip.
As soon as I told you to go, I was totally expecting to watch the cloth just rip!
And safely back on the ground, Mark is one hell of a stunned pilot.
That was beautiful!
Oh, thank you.
That worked
thank
like
you.
a charm!
Thank you, thank you.
Good job. That's what we call busted on MythBusters.
That is superior help. Thank you so much.
That's what I
man.
call amazing.
Were you surprised?
Yes, I was really surprised it just took off normally. I thought that I would just sit here like a brick.
It was beautiful being over there. I'm watching the tarp moving like this, and you just took off like it wasn't even there. You had no relationship to it.
That's true, and I'm totally surprised.
Awesome. That was so good.
Safe flying.
Bye. Maybe we can supersize this with a jet next time.
This one is so controversial. I can't believe that the very pilot we hired to test it thought that his plane would remain stationary.
Yeah, for some reason people just can't wrap their brains around the fact that the plane's engine is not sending power to the wheels. It sends it to the propeller.
Yeah. Okay, let's get official about this. How do you want to call it?
Well, we put the plane on a conveyor belt, and the plane took off just fine, so
I'd say that's busted.
busted.